very much, Mr. Chairman. On your chart, there are several categories here listed of research in the blue compared to just one category with the fossil. If we've been served very well by fossil energy, and but if we don't move from fossil energy to all of the above or other alternatives, I want to ask the Secretary, are we running the risk of not having enough energy for the people on this planet if we just depend on fossil fuels?
Well, obviously, fossil fuels are, by definition, finite. We still have a lot to produce, but I think the real issue, I mean, in my view, the question is: do we have enough atmosphere to accommodate using all fossil fuels, for example, be it in conventional pollution or carbon dioxide? So clearly, fuel diversity is very important. That includes bringing in nuclear, renewables, and of course efficiency, along with fossil. But fossil, our investments are still aimed at fossil for a future low-carbon environment.
So in looking toward the future, it would make sense then to put some of the investment in all the other research areas other than just fossil.
Absolutely, very, very substantially. These will play increasingly important roles.
Thank you very much. Now, I know that in a tough budget environment, you've got to make tough decisions. But in the Office of Science, can you provide a clear explanation for the proposed funding level, and if there is some discretion about which the Office of Science, beyond the department's request level, can have access to some additional resources?
It's clear that you've already given the most important part of the answer, which is that it's a very constrained environment with essentially flat dollars for discretionary spending on both sides of the agenda, civilian and military, and we faced both of those constraints, I might say. On the civilian side, we had to make choices. We believe the science program at $5.1 billion is very robust. Could we do more? We could accelerate, for example, our development of new facilities. But I do note in the budget, for example, our light sources, our neutron sources will be very heavily utilized with this budget, and at the same time moving forward to build new capabilities like the FEL project at SLAC, the new accelerator at Michigan State. So I do think we will be moving forward. We also are recompeting energy frontier research centers. So we'll be a strong budget. Clearly, if there were more funds, the science enterprise could certainly be even more robust.
Thank you. Now, there are times when I hear a lot about my colleagues talking about picking winners and losers and interfering in the free market by crowding out private investment. But frankly, I don't understand the argument too well, so I'm hoping you can help. Should the government support all research proposals and areas equally, or should it prioritize investments based on where we can get the most value for our tax dollars? That's question one. And number two, hasn't the department actually picked a lot of important winners in the past decades, such as breakthrough of the hydraulic fracturing technology, or is that a bad thing?
Well, certainly, again, we believe in a broad set of investments, but within that, obviously, one is choosing areas within budget constraints for greater emphasis at any given time, depending on the opportunities. You've mentioned the hydraulic fracturing, for example, where the department made the initial investments in the 79-80 time frame, and I might say that was the seed, but then it was picked up by a public-private partnership in which, in that case, it was a FERC administered surcharge on interstate gas transmission, industry matching funds, and a congressional tax credit, all of which came to develop the unconventionals. In this budget, for example, We don't know. Maybe we'll have the next unconventional revolution. We have put in for $15 million to start to build our methane hydrates program, which could be the next one in the future.
Thank you. Time is expired.